Now, what is a toy drive without some kid-friendly recipes?
It's a toy drive that leaves people hungry. So joining us now is personal chef Bill Collins from chefbill.com. We've got kid-friendly recipes, but taking a straw poll of everybody in the audience, I'm fairly confident all the adults like them too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's something about Sloppy Joe's which just says not only kid, but comfort food.
Right?
And plus you can make it so many different ways. Sloppy Joe's is really one of the great foods of all times.
I agree.
Agree.
Agreed. So
Absolutely.
So to make it actually simple, so simple for people that so many of the ingredients also, if you skip one or change one, it's that flexible of a recipe. So what I do is I like to put in peppers and onions because, especially with kids, the more vegetables you can get in them, the better.
And you
Definitely.
sneak the vegetables in
Sneak
too.
them in. So if you have to puree them or just go with onions, because peppers can stand out.
Oh, if you puree it, doesn't change the flavor at all,
Not
does
at all.
it?
No,
Okay.
it just makes it invisible. And
That's
so
great.
Just makes you a sneaky parent.
and isn't that the goal?
Yes.
So what I've done, I've already browned up the peppers and the onions, and I'm just putting the ground beef in.
Now, Chef Bill, did you put the onions in before the peppers, or all at once is fine?
I do put onions and peppers in together.
Okay.
And I actually put garlic in, but garlic I like to put in closer to the end, because the reason for that is it can burn so quickly. So this way, and if you leave it on a little longer, you don't have to worry about that. So and so you get that nice sizzle going. So in this case, I'm using ground beef. It's about 90% lean. You can go with fattier if you like that, leaner, or go with turkey burger. Turkey or chicken, which is even healthier. So there are just so many. That's why Sloppy Joe's are such a versatile kinds of thing. So really, just kind of break it up. I'm going to put in a little thyme.
You know what's funny about Sloppy Joe's? Give a kid a Sloppy Joe, he'll eat it all day long. If you call something very similar meatloaf, kids are scared of it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You shape it,
It's
pop
so
it in the oven.
similar, though. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a really good point.
In the burger, everybody's a fan.
Everybody loves it.
That is a good point, actually, Seth.
I didn't think about
I
that.
like that.
Just now.
You're such a culinary genius.
So much.
So
Change the name of it.
That's right. So now, after this is going to be browned up, it's not even going to take 5 minutes. So as that's cooking along, the other ingredients that I put in there, I've mixed up already some tomato sauce, not the Italian spaghetti sauce, but just a basic tomato sauce you can either buy in a can or make it. Just use some tomato puree, add in a little oregano and a few spices or not. Keep it as mild or as spicy as you want. And that's going to go in as soon as this is a little more brown. You see how quickly this is already browning.
Now, what's your pan on? Is it
Ooh,
relatively
smells
high?
nice.
I've got it. I do have the pan on relatively high. I've got it medium high. Now the thing is, I've got it on a smaller burner only because I wanted it right here in the center of the stove, or I should say, not right over here. So that's why it's taking just a few minutes longer. But you have a medium high, and that'll catch in no time.
Now, I have a question for you, Chef Bill.
Sure.
Now, we all know the Sloppy Joe in a can.
Yes.
Grew up with that. How does this taste compared to that? Is it similar?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly insulted that you bring up. No, I'm kidding. Sloppy Joe's
That's
in a
what I
can.
grew up on.
Exactly. Well, I didn't want to insult your childhood. No, Sloppy Joe's. See, that's the great thing about making it yourself, is that you can give it any flavor you want. And so, as you grow up with the canned Sloppy Joe's, that's the comfort food you. That's the flavor that you like.
Yeah.
And so you can make this to taste similar to that, or if you like it a little sweeter. This recipe is a little bit sweeter because kids like things sweet. I put in a little brown sugar in there, and there's a little sweetness in the ketchup that I mixed up in the tomato sauce. And so if you say, I want it sweeter or less sweet, you can adjust it. And so that way you can get either as close or as far away from the canned Sloppy Joe's as you want. Plus, the great thing about doing it from fresh is you know exactly the ingredients that went in there. You can get the meat from whatever a butcher or shop that you prefer, and you know the quality is going to be exactly as you want it.
I'll take fresh over can any day.
I can also pronounce everything that I see on this table right now.
Absolutely.
And
Which
Yes.
is nice.
And
That's
that's
good.
that's the thing. You've got a little tomato sauce there. You've got the brown sugar. You can pronounce thyme, and you go with canned thyme, salt, and pepper, and a little Worcestershire sauce. And also, I like to put a little red vinegar in. Now, I'm going to put the sauce in now. Ordinarily, I wait till it's a little bit browner, but it's all going to cook. It's not going to affect the flavor at all, because it's all going to simmer along nicely.
Now, why red vinegar and not like an apple cider vinegar or white vinegar?
Well, it's funny you should ask, because I've just written a book on vinegar, which will be out in July. And the thing about vinegars, they all do have slightly different flavors. If you only have cider vinegar, use that. I like the flavor of the red vinegar. It's a little bit sharper, but not much. So it's just a matter of which one you have or which one you want to use. Oh, please do.
We should have you back
And
sometime for a vinegar lesson, because I bet we could talk about vinegar for hours.
And that's actually just
Yeah.
a regular supermarket vinegar. And right next to my desk at home, it smells like vinegar because I've got all these vinegars fermenting next to my desk.
So you make sure you tell people
weird
it's the
house you've
vinegar
got.
Vinegar is
that I'm fermenting,
that's
not
right.
the weird air freshener that I use.
That's exactly. So to put a little brown sugar, and that's the thing too is if you find that you like a little more of a bite to it, a little more, add a little more vinegar. It's really just a matter of what taste you like to have. Some people say, well, I'm out of vinegar. Do I have to put it in? You can skip it. And again, the flavors that you come up with are the flavors that you want. I'm going to add just a little Tabasco, and I like to put in just one splash at a time because the whole purpose of Tabasco is not, to take your head off, but to give it a little bit of a bite. And if you want more of a bite, add more. And so that's why I like to have it on the table if I'm making something with this.
Some people aren't a fan of it, so you don't want
Exactly,
to
and you can always splash a little more on. So now, a little salt and pepper. And I'm going to let this simmer a little bit. And this probably would be a good time to take a taste to see if we like the Sloppy Joes.
It
Sounds
would
good to
probably
me.
be a good time to take a taste.
It's always
yeah.
a good time to
And
take
I
a
happen
taste.
to have some right here as well. I want to give that just another minute or so. So this is some that I made
spoons.
earlier. And also the famous hamburger rolls. But absolutely, if you want to take a spoon and just take a taste.
I would love to.
And the thing is, it's a little bit sweet. It's got a little bit of a zip to it. And so it's a matter of what you like to have.
It's a childhood favorite.
That is amazing.
That just brought
I
me
could
back.
just eat it like that.
That's the thing. You can skip
Sloppy Joe soup.
the carbs and the rolls and just have the Sloppy Joes.
Well,
I really
we're
could.
just getting started with you because give me a little primer. Later in the show, we've got oven-baked fries,
Oven fries and chicken fingers.
chicken fingers.
Yep.
Homemade
But
chicken fingers.
Homemade chicken fingers.
Yeah, these are a step above the rest
man.
here. All right,
All right.
that's delicious, Chef Bill.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Hey,
Welcome back to Master Meal. We're back with personal chef Bill Collins from ChefBill.com. We're having fun in the kitchen,
We
Chef
are.
Bill, because we're making kid-friendly recipes. Now, earlier we made Sloppy Joes, which was amazing.
Thank you.
Now we're going to make chicken fingers, but I think they look like chicken nuggets.
Well, I couldn't get the full finger going, so I went for the kind of half finger thumb nugget look. But
They
yes,
look delicious.
Yes, and they're so easy to make because really what you want to do is go with chicken breast. And I also tell people don't go by the chicken tenders, even though those are a little longer. They cost more, and it's just chicken breast with a little vein through it. This is, I think, my preferred way to go.
Oh, I always buy the chicken tenders, see?
They cost more. Now, if some people
That's
don't like to
true.
slice raw chicken, then that's fine. Go with the tenders. But I do like...
Or wear gloves.
Or wear gloves. So that's why I always have the gloves on when I'm working with the raw foods, raw chicken and things. So really, just a couple of steps. It's part of the classic dredging and frying, but we're not frying. Is that you take the chicken, and I've got a little mixture here of egg, salt, pepper, and olive oil. And then here I've got the two different breadcrumbs, the regular breadcrumbs and the panko breadcrumbs, which are the Japanese ones that gives it a nice crunch on the outside. And a little dried basil, a little dried oregano, and some Parmesan cheese in there.
Oh.
And again, if your kids are a little picky because they might not want to see the green of the herbs, you can skip those. The Parmesan gives a nice little Italian flair, but you can skip that, so it's very flexible.
Right, and so you could have the adult chicken tenders with some herbs in it, or you can keep them more plain.
Exactly.
Now, why do you put olive oil in the egg mixture here?
Because number one, it stretches the egg a little bit, so we can put a few in at a time, but also it helps with the browning. So, and also it all helps with the sticking to the breadcrumbs to the egg. To the chicken. So what I like to do is I like to put a few pieces at a time, and then you can just put them on the sheet pan. You can.
Now, when I do this, I always feel like I have to get every little bit of the surface covered with it.
No, you don't have to
Not-
make yourself crazy. You can see there's some less than completely covered stuff there.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Because especially you're a little bit busy, that could be 5 minutes more when your kids might want your attention.
Yes.
So
Know what
which-
that's all about.
Yeah, exactly. so this way you can do them, just line them up. And,
All right.
and it actually is this easy. Now, you and I were talking a little bit earlier about
Yes.
how this is similar to a chicken parmesan, and it really is, but also the fact that this is not fried, and a lot of people associate chicken parmesan or chicken fingers that you have to fry them.
Absolutely, I always did. I always thought I had to fry them in canola oil or some kind of oil on the stove.
Exactly, and what helps this along, and again with the oil in the oven, is it goes into the oven at 450, which is a high temperature. And so these are going to cook in about 8 or 9 minutes because they're so small. The pieces are so small. But all of that gives it a nice crunch, and you're not going to miss the flavor and the crunch of frying, and it's going to be healthier. It's going to be less splattering, and also with kids around, you're not always necessarily going to want to do any deep frying. So it just makes it a whole lot easier that way.
Oh my gosh, everything about it is better.
It
I
is.
think it's because I'm always trying to fry and then I have to clean up my whole stove because I got the splatter marks everywhere.
That's
you know?
exactly it. It looks like some kind of a fried chicken massacre there with all the
just a
splattering.
pain, you know?
It really is. So,
All right.
So
So
we're
that's
just about
good
out
for
of crumbs.
now,
We can
right?
add some more. So this is good for now. So this is just going to go right into the oven. See, that's the great thing about gloves is you can just take them right off.
I love that.
It is. And so these are going to go right into the oven in a moment.
Yep.
And so I happen to have right here the beauty of television.
Isn't it nice?
It is nice.
We can try them. It happens so fast. They're cooked.
Yep, so we've got some chicken fingers right there, and I've got a marinara sauce here. So I talked earlier about going with the regular tomato sauce, but this is the Italian tomato sauce, because that's what people like with the chicken fingers.
And we talk about kid-friendly. If I was having a party, you could make a whole platter of these and then put out all different dipping sauces for people, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Adults love them, kids love them, and they're really just a great food. And these freeze real well. Oh, so you like the flavor? It's so
I feel like
easy
my
to make.
reaction is always the same when I try your food, but it's so genuine.
Well,
so
thank
good.
you, thank you. And
So good.
And one other thing is, I was saying this is freezable, so you can make a whole bunch, throw them in the freezer, and actually, if you freeze them, put them on a flat sheet pan or something first, so they don't stick together. Then when they're frozen, then you can throw them all in a bag. But you can freeze them, so you can just pull them out after school. And then next to those, which also go real well, are oven fries. And really, all I do is I like russet potatoes, which I had one here a moment ago, and I just hit it over to the side. Russet potato, cut it along lengthwise, and then cut individual fries out of it that way. And again, not fried. These are done in the oven, about 400 degrees, a little olive oil, salt and pepper, coat them. And they'll take about 40 minutes in the oven. Turn them every 15 minutes or so, and you're going to get the even browning all over.
It's that easy, and you don't even have to peel them.
Exactly. And what I do is I like to take a scrubby. I keep it. Aren't those great? And you got a little ketchup right there if you like that. I personally love ketchup.
I love ketchup,
I
too.
know. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And so all you want to do is, if you're not going to peel them, and I didn't do that, is take one of those scrubby pads, and I keep one set aside just for cleaning potatoes and things. So get all the dirt off, run them underwater, so you have a nice clean potato. You don't have to peel them because there are all kinds of nutrients in the skin. Plus, it looks cooler to have the different look like that.
I know. Oh my gosh. So this kid-friendly, adult-friendly too.
Yep.
And you just made this mom real happy.
Yeah.
My life is going to get so much easier. Chicken nuggets or chicken tenders and oven-baked fries. Healthy, easy to make, and kids and adults will love it.
Absolutely.
Well, I know what I'm having for dinner tonight, and I
There
know
you
every
go.
other mom and dad is happy too. Chef Bill, thanks so much for the recipe. These recipes will be on our website later today.
Absolutely.
MyMassappeal.com. Thanks so much. I'm going to keep
Thanks,
on eating.
Ashley.
Now I'm going to.
Welcome back to Mass Appeal. We're back with personal chef Bill Collins from chefbill.com. We've made some amazing food. Take me through it. So I see here potato fries.
Oven fries, yep, baked, not fried. Chicken fingers, also baked with a nice little crusty outside.
Now, I missed earlier, it's panko crumbs, and what else is in there?
panko crumbs, breadcrumbs. We've got both kind of breadcrumbs on the
Oh,
outside.
cool.
So it's a little coating of a little beaten egg and olive oil, and that's what we put that the chicken on the egg, then the breadcrumbs, bake it, and then you finish up with the sloppy joes.
Voila. So sloppy joes, we sauteed the peppers and the onions.
Yes.
And then we put in the meat.
Yep, and
Where
then,
do we go from
then
there?
you add, once the meat's browned, you add in the rest of your seasonings. A little tomato sauce, a little ketchup, brown sugar, a little vinegar, a few spices, a little Worcestershire sauce, and you have sloppy joes.
It is so good.
Right?
So good.
And at home, if there's one ingredient there you don't like, you can always augment it to suit your taste, right? That's one of the best part about sloppy joes.
Exactly. You know, some people like it sweeter, less sweet, a little bit of a bite, a little more Tabasco, so you can really make it as you want it to be.
So these are our treats for kids, and all so long we've been doing
Adults, too.
adults too. Yeah, who are we kidding? Yeah, but we have toys too, as you may or may not have heard. So you once again.